Greetings rovers, Renacita is finally here and Carlotta is also the very first 5-star pistol user in Wuthering Waves. Let's dive straight into her build guide, starting with her Forte. Carlotta has plenty of visual cues that may seem a bit confusing at first, so let's make it simple. Carlotta has two Forte bars. The first bar is called Substance and available when Carlotta takes the field. After casting her Liberation, Carlotta will use a new Forte bar with 4 meta vectors. Carlotta also has 6 crystals alongside her that are called moldable crystals. You may also notice a gem at the center of her Forte. When this gem is red, it means that Carlotta is in the tinted crystal state. This state allows Carlotta to use a special heavy attack when she has a full substance Forte bar and enters a 22-second cooldown after being cast. You'll know it's on cooldown when the gem at the center of her Forte bar turns blue. Using her heavy attack while this gem is blue and her Forte bar is full will cast a not as special heavy attack but still better than the default heavy attack. But how do you build Carlotta's Forte? To build Carlotta's Substance, you need to use the moldable crystals that appear alongside Carlotta. Each time you use one of these moldable crystals, you will gain 10 Substance, and it takes 120 to completely fill this bar. You will also get 30 Substance from Carlotta's intro skill, so you only need 90 Substance from using these moldable crystals. If you calculate it, you need to use a total of 9 moldable crystals to obtain 90 Substance. But the issue is, Carlotta can only hold a maximum of 6 moldable crystals at any given time. So you need to use some moldable crystals before you can get your full 90 Substance. Every time you complete Carlotta's Resonance skill, Basic Attack 2, Default Heavy Attack, Mid-AO Attack, Intro skill, and a successful dodge, you will obtain 3 moldable crystals. To consume Carlotta's moldable crystals, you can use her second Resonance skill that is available for a short duration after casting her default Resonance skill, or by using her enhanced normal attack that is available whenever you have multiple crystals. The fastest and most efficient way possible is to start using Carlotta's Resonance skill twice whenever you enter battle. This will provide Carlotta with 30 Substance before you begin your entire team's rotation, so that by the time Carlotta takes the field again with her intro skill, you will already have 60 Substance. Now you only need another 60 more Substance to complete her Forte bar, which is equivalent to using 6 moldable crystals. To obtain 6 moldable crystals as fast as possible, you can use Carlotta's intro skill to obtain 3 moldable crystals, followed by her Resonance skill to obtain another 3 moldable crystals. Now you will have a total of 6 moldable crystals, so you can cast Carlotta's Chromatic Splendor Resonance skill, which is the second one, to consume all 6 moldable crystals at once and complete Carlotta's Forte bar. With a full Forte bar, you will see this hourglass appear. This means that Carlotta is in the final blow state, which increases the damage from her Liberation. So you want to have this symbol before using her Resonance Liberation. When your Substance bar is full and the gem is red, you can also activate her heavy attack that looks like this, called Imminent Oblivion. It is important to use this heavy attack because you will reduce the Resonance skill cooldown by 6 seconds, so it is available after using her Liberation. So just to recap, you will use her 2 Resonance skills when entering combat, then her intro skill, followed by 2 Resonance skills again, then heavy attack Imminent Oblivion, and finally her Resonance Liberation. After casting her Liberation, Carlotta will enter the Twilight Tango state. Carlotta can only use her normal attack or Liberation to trigger the same attack called Death Knell. Each time you use Death Knell, Carlotta will gain 1 meta vector. When Carlotta has 4 meta vectors, using her Liberation will cast Fatal Finale, dealing massive damage and ending the Twilight state. The Resonance skill should now be off cooldown, so Carlotta can use both Resonance skills to obtain 30 Substance for her next rotation. And that is the most efficient way to play Carlotta. Keep in mind that a weapon like Thunderbolt from the Pioneer Podcast Battle Pass requires basic attacks and heavy attacks to activate the weapon passive, so you will need to change up her rotation a bit by using a heavy attack and 3 basic attacks after 2 to resonance skills. But if you're looking for Carlotta's best weapons and what weapon you should consider using, this next section has you covered. There are currently 2 5-star options for Carlotta: her signature, the Last Dance, and Static Mist from the standard pool of weapons. Static Mist passive does not provide any bonus for Carlotta, but it is useful as a crit rate stick if you require crit rate as you transition to the endgame build. But if you permanently use this weapon, you eventually want to use a crit damage main echo for Carlotta. The sequence 1 also provides crit rate, so using other weapon options becomes a better alternative. When it comes to Carlotta's 4-star options, there is plenty to talk about. Thunderbolt R5 is Carlotta's best 4-star option, but also has a $50 price tag if you're looking to complete the rank 5 Symphony. This weapon does compete damage wise with Static Mist because the passive increases roughly 3-fold from rank 1 to rank 5, whereas your gacha and craftable options only double. The next best 4-star option is the Undying Flame. This weapon is part of all the Convene banners, so you do have a good chance of working towards a rank 5 version of this weapon. Relativistic Jet is your most consistent option after the Thunderbolt and Undying Flame. The Renacita craftable Romance in Farewell does not proc its passive with Carlotta's Deconstruction, but if there are characters in the future who provide a negative status and work with Carlotta, this weapon can compete with Relativistic Jet. For your 3-star options, Pistols of Night is your best option. And that covers Carlotta's weapon options, so let's cover her echoes. Starting with Carlotta's best echo set, Frosty Resolve is tailor-made to match Carlotta's kit and will help your Carlotta to reach her maximum potential. Lingering Tunes is viable for most weapons as her next best echo set, however it has become slightly outdated with the new Nightmare Echoes and its own ramp up time. Nightmare Echoes provide stat bonuses just by having the echo in your main slot, so your echo skill slot, and Lingering Tunes ramp up time means that you won't always be at maximum damage during your rotation. If you are mid game or using a transitional 4-4-1-1 echo build, then using a 2-piece Frosty Resolve and 2-piece Freezing Frost is your best option, and this is only marginally better than any other 2-piece combination. 4-4-1-1 is only recommended for the pre-endgame builds to achieve good crit rates without rolling hundreds of substats on echoes, hence why we call it transitional. For your endgame build on Carlotta, you want to use a 4-3-3-1-1. Alright, now let's talk about the echo main stats. There's usually plenty of talk around this when it comes to DPS builds, so I'm going to show you 2 tricks to very easily decide which echoes you should go with. Your forecast echo for Carlotta should always be crit rate if you are not using the Static Mist and don't have S1 Carlotta. Static Mist provides crit rate, so the rest of Carlotta's crit rate needs should come from Substats, and if you play her with Shorekeeper, then from her Stellar Realm. For Carlotta's 3-cost echoes, the most practical and safest build is using a combination of Glacio and attack percent. If you are able to maximize your flat attack rolls, then using 2 Glacio damage bonus 3-cost echoes will be better. Most of the buffs currently in the game provide an attack boost, so having more Glacio damage bonus and flat attack is beneficial in that scenario. When in Tower of Adversity, you can usually get a 30% elemental damage bonus for a specific element, so if your flat attack rolls are low, then rather use a combination of Glacio and attack percent. But let's say you want to compare a build with 2 Glacio damage bonus echoes and 1 Glacio damage bonus and attack percent echo. This first method is a super easy method you can do in-game, and that is looking at the crit damage of Carlotta's Fatal Finale, then multiplying it by your crit rate, and then add her non-crit damage of the same attack multiplied by her non-crit rate. This works because Carlotta's kit focuses on resonance skill damage, and during Fatal Finale's attack is when you should have all the buffs in your rotation active. You can do this when comparing any 2 builds for Carlotta, not only when comparing 3-cost echoes. The alternative method if you want precise percentage ratios in differences is to use Sidneymar's build optimizer that will provide you with the damage numbers before enemy defense and damage deepening. These do not affect the optimization because they are linear scaling. When it comes to substats, being a DPS with a crit damage signature weapon, crit rate and crit damage is your main priority. Attack percent is an all-round boost to include your intro and outro skill damage, with the outro skill being a significant amount of damage. Resonance skill damage and energy regen are equal as Carlotta's third priority. Energy regen is important so that you have her liberation ready for each rotation and should be at least 120%. Other honorable mentions are flat attack when rolled 50 and above, and basic attack damage bonus when using the Thunderbolt. And in your main echo slots, you should use the Sentry construct to maximize Carlotta's damage. If you are using other echo sets, then using the echo that provides the damage boost is the most beneficial, and your one cost echoes should both be on attack percent. That covers everything for Carlotta's echoes. Now let's cover her Forte priority. Most of Carlotta's damage is considered resonance skill damage, but the largest majority originates from her resonance liberation. This makes her resonance liberation her top priority, followed by her resonance skill and then her Forte circuit. It is possible to never use Carlotta's basic attack in an ideal rotation, but given that you will inevitably use it, you can prioritize this as her fourth and even third if you are using the Thunderbolt pistol. Lastly is Carlotta's intro skill, which is used more often than Carlotta's basic attack in a perfect rotation, but not a significant amount of damage originates from this attack. The final topic for Carlotta's build are her sequences. I call S1 an enthusiast sequence because it offers crit rate for comfort, but it also allows you to use a crit damage forecast echo instead of a crit rate echo, only when you have high crit rate rolls on each echo and you're using Shorekeeper's buff. It also shortens Carlotta's rotation and provides a bit more efficiency when building her Forte in quick swap teams. S2 is a pure damage boost and nothing notable to mention there. S3 is a giga buff for Carlotta, and together with her S1, this motivates you to use Carlotta's skill as much as possible. Her outro skill also has an additional nuke attack. S4 is Carlotta's team buff resonance chain for anyone dealing resonance skill damage. I think S5 should never be a stopping point for any DPS, and S6 is a mix of quality of life and damage boost. That covers everything to do with Carlotta's build, and all that is left are her team comps. Carlotta's hypercarry team for maximum damage includes Jeja and Shorekeeper. Alternatives for Jeja would be Tauchi or Lumi for skill damage amplification, and Verena or Baiji for support. Alternatively, if you are using the new craftable weapon on Carlotta, then using her with Spectra Rover is necessary to proc the weapon passives. That is all for this Carlotta guide. Let me know your thoughts below and I will see you in the next video.